You know that moment when a baby just locks eyes with you? It's intense, right? They're not blinking, they're not looking away. They are just staring. And usually we just kind of wave or make a funny face. But what if I told you that stare is one of the most complex, sophisticated, and flat-out important forms of communication on the planet? Well, let's decode that silent language.
Because it turns out, developmental neuroscientists have discovered that it's not a blink stare at all. It's basically a high-bandwidth data transfer that is literally building a human mind from the ground up. So in this explainer, we're going to break down what's really going on when a baby stares right into your soul.
All right, so let's start with the explanation you've probably heard a million times. The common theory, right? That babies stare simply because their vision is blurry and our big faces are just the most interesting blobs in their field of view. It sounds plausible, but the actual science tells a completely different story.
See, here's the massive hole in that old theory. Yeah, a newborn can only really see about 8 to 12 inches away, which conveniently is about the distance to your face when you hold them. But by 3 months old, their vision is way better. They can see the entire room, the spinning ceiling fan, the family dog, the bright window. And yet, what do they choose to stare at over and over again? Your face. That's not a limitation, folks. That's a deliberate choice. And the reason for that choice is where things get really wild.
So what is actually happening on a neurological level during one of these staring contests? This isn't just about what the baby is seeing with their eyes, it's about what their brain and your brain are doing together. So get this. In 2017, a huge study out of Cambridge University found something that basically stopped developmental psychology in its tracks. They discovered that when an infant and an adult make direct eye contact, their brains don't just react on their own. No, they actually start to fire in sync, like a perfectly coordinated orchestra. This phenomenon has a name. It's called neural coupling. The easiest way to think about it is like two computers wirelessly connecting to the same network. The brainwaves in both individuals start to fire in the same rhythm, at the same frequency, at the exact same time. It's a direct brain-to-brain link. And here's the kicker. The baby's stare is what initiates the connection. And you can see it in the data. The researchers tested this out. When the adult looked away, the brain sync was almost zero. When they were in the room but not making direct eye contact, it was a little better. But when they made direct, mutual eye contact, the synchronization, that neural coupling, went through the roof. It was the strongest effect they had ever seen. Your baby isn't just looking at you, they are actively plugging their brain into yours.
Okay, so if they're plugging into your brain, what exactly are they downloading? What's in that data transfer? This gets to the real purpose of the stare. They're creating an emotional blueprint for reality itself.
That intense, almost unnerving gaze isn't a sign of confusion. It's the complete opposite. It's hyperfocus. They are collecting data, reading every single tiny micro-expression, the slightest shift in your eyes, the smallest twitch of your lips. They're building a map of the world, and your face is their primary source of information. Psychologists call this social referencing, and it's a profound but simple process. So a new person walks in the room, or there's a loud noise. The baby's first instinct isn't to react to the person or the noise. Nope. Their first move is to whip their head around and look at you. They scan your face for the data. Are you smiling and calm? Okay, this new thing must be safe. Are your eyes wide with fear? Time to panic. You are their living, breathing instruction manual for how to feel about everything. This quote really just nails it. A baby's own nervous system is brand new. It doesn't know how to regulate itself yet. So when they stare at you, they are literally plugging into your fully developed system to borrow your calm, to borrow your joy, to calibrate their own internal settings. So what happens when that connection is suddenly and unexpectedly severed? There's a famous and honestly pretty tough to watch experiment from the 1970s that shows us exactly how vital this connection is. It's called the still face paradigm.
Let me walk you through it, because it's so revealing. It starts with a mom and her baby playing, laughing. It's a totally normal, happy scene. Then, on cue, the mother's face goes completely blank, expressionless, stone-faced. The baby notices immediately, and they try everything in their playbook to get a reaction. They give these huge smiles, they point, they coo, and they get nothing back. Within just 90 seconds, you can measure the stress hormone cortisol flooding their system. Their heart rate skyrockets, and some babies just give up. They turn away and go quiet in this heartbreaking little emotional shutdown.
And the man who created the experiment, Dr. Edward Tronick, he said it best. The baby's profound distress proves that the stare isn't just passive observation. It is an active, urgent attempt to communicate. They are speaking to you with their eyes, and they have a desperate biological need for you to speak back. So we've seen the real-time brain connection, and we've seen the immediate distress when that connection is lost. But what's the long-term game here? Because all of this staring isn't just about managing the moment. It's about physically building the architecture of the human brain. Every single time you hold their gaze, every time you smile back, you are quite literally helping to lay down and strengthen the neural pathways that will serve them for the rest of their lives. It feels like just a sweet, simple moment, but it is one of the most critical developmental processes there is. This is such a powerful way to think about it. You're not just bonding, you're doing construction work. You are the lead foreman on the most important construction project in the world, your child's brain. The genes provide the blueprint, sure, but the materials, the wiring, the resilience, that comes from these millions of tiny back-and-forth interactions. And this isn't just a nice idea. Scientists can actually measure it. Studies have shown that babies who get more of this responsive, face-to-face time have measurably more development in a really important area of the brain called the prefrontal cortex. That's the brain's command center. It's the part that handles decision-making, emotional control, social skills, all the big stuff. Staring back literally builds a better, stronger brain. Okay, so this all brings us to our final and maybe most important point. Understanding this science isn't just fascinating. It gives us a really clear takeaway and a piece of information that every single parent and caregiver needs to know. So if that stare is so critical, it stands to reason that the absence of it can be a signal. Now, this isn't meant to make anyone panic, but researchers are clear that a consistent pattern of a baby avoiding eye contact, or not tracking your face as you move, or seeming to look through you rather than at you, well, these can be early indicators for atypical social development. It's just something to be aware of. And why is being aware so important? Because the brain's ability to change and adapt, what scientists call plasticity, is at its absolute peak in the first couple years of life. Identifying a potential issue at 6 months old means you can get support that can change outcomes in a way that's much harder at age 3 or 4. The bottom line here is to trust your gut. You are the world's foremost expert on your child. When you really think about it, evolution is just brilliant. It didn't give a baby the ability to talk or walk or feed itself. It gave them one perfect tool designed to guarantee their survival and development. Those big, captivating eyes that we are biologically programmed to find absolutely irresistible. It is the most sophisticated social interface ever designed. So the next time a baby locks eyes with you, remember what is happening in that silent moment. It's not a passive glance, it's a connection request. Their brand new brain is reaching across the space between you, looking for a signal, looking for a guide, looking for a partner to help them build a mind. Their brain is reaching for yours. The only question left is, how will you respond?